Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and today we are going to take a closer look at the adventurer guild World Searchers, like-minded guilds back in Yggdrasil, and how they even influenced and inspired Ainz Ooal Gown in basically the web, the light and the evil eye bonus novel. But before we're going to take a closer look at all of them, let me thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. Also, I'm going to mix and match lore pieces from every Overlord source in order to paint a coherent picture of the guild, its principles and how they affected Ainz at large. Now, with all of that said, let's dive into the topic at hand. First and foremost, and this might shock you, the guild World Searchers were ranked higher than the guild Ainz Ooal Gown ever was. It stood at no other than the second rank in the entirety of Yggdrasil Online, while Nezarec, even at full power, was merely ranked 9th, and only at its very peak. Now, while this in and of itself implies that World Searchers had been more successful, this alone is not the end-all be-all of power scale. I think in the internal ranking, it is a very different thing if you commit yourself to discover new dungeons, items and regions on a daily basis, or if you basically play Kevin alone at home with the odd raid here and there. Especially because Nezarec stopped recruiting at just 41 members. It is theoretically possible that at a hypothetical full force, or a 100-member strong Great Tomb of Nezarec, Ainz Ooal Gown could have been closer to or even higher ranked as World Searchers, snatching their second rank away from them. But fighting guild wars and optimizing for PvP wasn't, as the name World Searchers implies, the goal of the guild. World Searchers was an explorer guild that committed itself to the exploration of the vast unknown world of Yggdrasil. Because in Yggdrasil Online, as mentioned before, you don't get tutorials or wikis with definite answers. You, the player, had to explore a world 3 times as large as Tokyo, filled to the brim with secrets, hidden dungeons, mines and cities, all set in a fantastic scenery. And this was an especially impressive experience for the people in our world in the year 2128, when Yggdrasil Online first started, because our world was, as Ainz had put it, grey. The ecosystem had collapsed, the rain was oily due to pollution, a nuclear war has happened, and going out without a gas mask was flat out deadly, and even with the gas mask equipped, one's lungs could still be in need of a replacement when you were just in your 30s or 40s. So again, not a nice place. And it might have been this very, albeit digital beauty that compelled the World Searchers to do the world searching, to explore new dungeons, forests, icy wastelands, and turn the unknown into the known. Which, incidentally, was also the playstyle that the developers expected people to adhere to, at least initially. But Yggdrasil Online got a lot bigger than that, especially with the Fall of Valkyria update that introduced mech suits and automaton builds like Shizo Delta into the game. But again, this had been the vision of the developers themselves. But most certainly not the vision of Ainz, whom doing his very own playtime of Yggdrasil Online found all of this kinda pointless. For him, the time spent with his friends, role-playing as an evil overlord, and the odd PvP match here and there was how he enjoyed Yggdrasil Online. But even his perspective, even as an unfeeling undead overlord, could still be changed. And it has changed 2 times. In the bonus volume, when Ainz Ooal Gown started to explore the new world with Evil Eye, he changed his mind and had gotten really into the world exploring and venturing into the unknown. If for no other reason than that he actually made new friends. And since PvP is ever so slightly unbalanced in the new world and tends to go in Ainz Ooal Gown's favor, quite often exploring was something far more suited to the Overlord. Now that he had founded a second guild with the name of Ainz Ooal Gown. And Evil Eye bonus volume aside, even in the current canon storyline, Ainz Ooal Gown had changed his mind about the World Searchers Guild. The more he explored the new world, the more favorable and inspired he must have gotten by them. And this had some real consequences. Ainz, especially in the 15th volume, developed a bit of a passion for exploring the unknown, to the point where he wanted to explore the world with, for example, Demiurge and Cocytus, therefore leaving Aura, who as a ranger could guide any party far more effectively through unknown territory, simply behind, because Ainz Ooal Gown liked the idea of making the exploration a bit more challenging. And aside from Ainz's future holiday plans, the World Searchers left deep enough of an impression that Ainz Ooal Gown reformed the Adventurer Guild in Irantel in order to turn it into functionally an underdeveloped copy of the World Searcher Guild. In Ainz Ooal Gown's mind, World Searchers had the right idea of a guild. It shouldn't be an anti-monster mercenary organization, but an institution of adventure and exploration. And Ainz Ooal Gown also considered sending these explorers, escorted by a skeleton force and luggage bearers, into the great forest of Avasha, since neither the theocracy or the elves had anywhere near fully mapped and explored the vast, wild and dangerous area. And lastly, guild members from World Searchers are, in my opinion, the most likely candidates to have also moved to the New World, simply because exploring is something that could have been done until the very end of Yggdrasil Online. So it is, at the very least, a possibility that the 6 great gods, the princess, the winged hero, the rider of the three-headed dragon, or the Goblin King were all part of this guild. But if you ask me who the most likely candidate of any known or unknown player is to be, at least potentially, a member of the Guild of World Searchers, I would have to say the Minotaur Sage or the All-Talk Sage. Again, the name depends on whether or not he could hear you. And I say this because Overlord is based on Dungeons and Dragons, and also because the world of Yggdrasil Online had many dungeons and dragons, and many, whether it be a labyrinthian forests, or a deep mountain cave, or an actual labyrinth, that could and would be explored. And therefore, a Minotaur is a very likely choice. This sounds a bit odd at first, but remember, in Dungeons and Dragons, Minotaurs are excellent masters of any labyrinth, and normal Minotaurs would regularly pray and pray in the name of their patron deity Baphomet, a chaotic evil demon lord that ruled a layer of the abyss called the Endless Maze. And Baphomet, at any time, would know any place of his realm and how to get there in no time, or in a lot of time, depending on whether or not he intended to kill or to merely chase and frighten his victims that were trapped in his very twisted realm. So D&D lore-wise, the Minotaur Sage would fit this idea of exploration the most. And I know, in the original real-world Greek lore, the Minotaur couldn't navigate a labyrinth at all, and remained trapped in what essentially is SCP-3008. And finally have been frequently asked how I think Overlord would end. And in my opinion, the best thing that could realistically happen to Ainz Ooal Gown is that he too takes time off and explores the new world, either in his guise of Momon, himself, or some unknown adventurer sent out by his own adventurer guild. And with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Ada Daddy Ada, Bad Guy Yee, Bad Boito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Hustler, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R., Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia Viffy Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Love Razor, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R., Michael Y., Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Q&A Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenokai, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon under my next video.